The World at 6, a special year-end edition. Good evening, I'm George Rich. The official results from the Israeli election won't be known for another 10 days, but it's likely that Premier Meir's Labour Socialist Coalition will lose 5 seats to the Likud coalition. With an assessment of the election returns, Jim Letterman in Jerusalem.
A group of leading doves in the Labour Party met tonight in a move that could produce political fireworks here for weeks or months to come. The group, which is attempting to wrest away the power that up to now has lain in the hands of Prime Minister Golda Meir, Defense Minister Moshe Dayan, and Minister with a portfolio Yisrael Galili. Their major aim, apparently, is to force Mrs. Meir to strengthen the number of doves in her new cabinet. A second objective is to prevent Moshe Dayan from becoming Defense Minister again. A third goal they seek is to break down Mrs. Meir's highly centralized form of rule and spread the decision-making around the cabinet as a whole. The group is convinced that a radical change in the top Israeli leadership is necessary and that the election returns demonstrate that there is a crisis of confidence in the country's leadership. Mrs. Meir must obviously be decidedly unhappy about the move, but there may be little that she can do to counteract it if it gathers strength and turns into a major party-wide revolt. This is Jim Letterman in Jerusalem.
The political infighting in Israel could affect the course of the Geneva peace talks, but the new government is expected to emerge with enough authority to continue the negotiations. An Argentine guerrilla organization has demanded $10 million in goods for the release of Victor Samuelson. Mr. Samuelson, manager of the Esso refinery in Campana, was seized by armed men while eating in the company cafeteria 3 weeks ago. In France, police have arrested 6 Basques and exiled them to a northern region of the country. They are suspected members of the Basque separatist group blamed for the assassination of the Spanish Prime Minister Luis Carrero Blanco. The militant organization is seeking a separate country for Basques living along the French-Spanish border. In Peru, the military government has nationalized the American-owned Cerro de Pasco mining company. The government has not indicated what compensation, if any, will be paid for the mines, estimated to be worth $146 million. The major oil companies want an immediate increase of 50 cents a barrel in the price of crude oil. The president of the Canadian Petroleum Association, John Poyen, says the increase is needed to provide money for exploration to find new supplies of oil and natural gas. Mr. Poyen predicts there will be a decline in exploration if the Alberta and federal governments continue their present energy policies.
As this world settles down and as the value of crude oil is properly assessed in a world picture which is not influenced by the crises of Arabian, Arab, Israeli conflicts and all, then I think we would settle into an area that probably the price of crude oil would be $6 to $6.50 a barrel. This would mean probably an increase in one of our favorite products, gasoline, of 4 to 5 cents a gallon. But possibly the consumer must have to accept that increase in order to guarantee his future supplies of gasoline for himself and for his children.
Meantime, the president of the Independent Petroleum Association of Canada has labeled the Alberta and federal governments as avaricious and greedy. Charles Dunkley says they're taking all the profits from crude oil, with the result that 1974 could be a make-or-break year for the petroleum industry. In a year-end statement, the federal energy minister has indicated the government's next budget will likely contain a proposal to tax windfall profits by oil companies. But Mr. McDonald says the export tax on crude oil shipped to the United States is already achieving a similar result. That was the latest news.